Alright, what's up guys, Fuffin here, and this is the patch 10.24 rundown. So this patch came a little bit earlier than I had expected. Otherwise I would have had this video out by now, but I was too busy not paying attention. So anyway, let's get into the patch rundown. So I've seen a couple little videos on this, the discussions with the Mort or whatever, so I have very mixed feelings, and I'll just hop into, everything with it. So there's the MPU where a bug fix with Ash. It's a bug fix, it's good. And then we got the highlights. So Aphelios, Akali, Xin Zhao, Jhin, and Set are getting buffed. Nerfs to Cultist, Diana, Lissandra, Nami, Pyke, Azir, Talon, and Zz'Rot. And then adjustments to Jarvan, Yasuo, Lulu, Zed, Cassiopeia, Warwick, Yone, and Jinx. So, if I remember correctly, there wasn't anything that I could think of that I particularly wanted to get changed. But I'll talk about that when I get to it. So, the systems are getting changed. So, the damage is actually getting upped at stages 3 and 4, and it's getting lowered at 6. So I actually don't like this change at all. The problem comes from too many things being changed at once in the systems. So I don't know how I can break this down in a way that, because what you're looking at right now is a bunch of numbers. But basically, as it sits right now, when you are level 7 or whatever, here are your chosen odds. And usually when you're level 7, you'll be in stage 5. Or not stage 5, stage 4. 4-1. 4-1 is when you get level 7. So the damage is getting increased already at a base. And this isn't a big change, right? But it is still a change. So getting to level 7 is already going to be a little bit more brutal, right? So the issue just comes from the fact that you're getting dealt more damage early, which means that your early has to be more structured, cohesive, strong. If you get a strong early opening, you are going to roll the lobby, and I don't think that's good. And okay, when I say strong opening, I mean whatever is going to be the default strongest opening, which is probably going to be either Keepers or Cultists, like it has been since the set started. But if you don't hit those, you're going to take a ridiculous amount of damage in the mid-game. And I just don't think that that's good for the game. You shouldn't go from 0-0 to 2-3. I think that's too big of a jump. Especially, like I said, if you just start losing a lot. It makes losing in the mid game really, really, really punishing. But yeah, so and then they compensate it down the line at stage 6, but I don't think that matters. I don't think that 2 health matters that late into the game, because you're taking significantly more damage. The reason why these numbers are more significant, even though that they're both only 1 each, and then the drop here is changed, is because the way that you take damage is it's based off the units left alive. So later into the game you have more units. So typically you have more units that stay alive at the end of the game, which makes them have, the 2 damage doesn't matter. I don't know how else I can try to explain it. It's hard to explain without actually showing, and I can go into more detail about it in another video. But I think I went into it a little bit in my combat and positioning guide, so you can check that out if you want. And then increase the base odds of rolling a chosen slightly. That's good. Okay, that's good. I think that the only change with chosen that needs to be implemented is that you absolutely need to have a chosen by 2-1. I don't think 2-2 is good, because it almost always guarantees that if you go up against someone with a chosen on 2-1 and you don't have a chosen on 2-1, you can lose very easily. It takes away a lot of power. And it looks like they're working toward fixing this, but I don't like that it's still something that can happen. because it's just it has nothing to do with your play, you know, or even your luck. It's just something that can happen. So you have the chosen roll odds are going to be changed. So level 4 is just getting increased more to level 1s. Level 5 is getting absolutely butchered. So I don't like these changes. I really don't. First off, something that I had said in the beginning of the set, which was relevant in the beginning of the set, was that hyperroll comps were going to be fucking crazy. And they're doing this weird thing right now where they're making 1 costs everywhere more, but then they're lowering the strength of a lot of 1 costs. And I'll get into that when we actually go to the champion changes. But like here, like, why do you only have a 5% chance? Like you just have no idea. You know, if you were to greed this long into level 5, which is, you know, stage 3-1 or whatever, I think you should be able to roll and get that like 3-star or 3 cost chosen. I think that's fine. You know, if you hit that, then whatever. You've already probably bled out a decent bit of health. And that would be further helped by these, you know, changes here. If anybody here is trying to absorb any information on how to play this fucking patch, do not sell your first chosen. You are going to have to learn how to play flexibly, a little bit at least. Buy your first chosen that you get and hold onto it up until at least stage 4. Like, you cannot sell it anymore, because you are going to have a horrible odd chance of finding anything better, and then you have increased damage at this stage. I don't think this is good. I don't think this is good for the game. You are trying to push people into extremely rigid ways of playing the game. And if this meta wasn't already rigid, it's even worse. So that's my hot take on it. I really don't like it. Level 6, I mean, it's just getting slightly shifted, but, you know, it's just more one cost chosens. I don't know why. I don't know who said, oh, when I'm level 6, I want to have a higher chance of having more 1 cost chosens. Nobody. And then this one gets me. This one really gets me. If you thought I was pissed about the fucking level 5 one, the level 7 one. If you don't know, the meta that has been basically you play whatever chosen you can and play as strong as you can, conserving a bunch of health, and then you get to level 7 at stage 4-1 and you roll down as much gold as you can to get a 4 cost chosen to sustain you to the next stage. That playstyle is fucking impossible now. And now if you happen to hit those chosens, they're not even as like you getting it is fucking big, but not, I don't know. It's fucking, it would be fine if your, like, the roll odds were compensated in favor for this, but it's not. It's in the opposite of this. So now if you hit this, you just win. If you hit an Elderwood Ash now, like at level 7, you fucking win the lobby. And is that really what we want here? Like the 5% chance? It's stupid. It's stupid and I hate it. But it's whatever, I guess. And then the level 8 roll odds don't really get shifted a lot. Or the level 8 chosen odds, I should say. Don't really get shifted a lot. This one's fine, I guess. I think that there should be like a 5% chance to hit 5 costs chosens here. Because if you're at level 8 and you don't have a chosen, bleeding out, you know, a shit ton of health, fuck it, have that 5%. That's something that I would think of like would be good RNG, but they removed that a while ago. So, and then the level 9 chosen odds is getting compensated better. So this, I mean, this is fucking good. This is good. This combined with the change of getting more chosens is fucking fine. It's just that, like, I don't know. Normal roll odds. It's just like everything's getting compensated against 4 costs. Like everywhere. Everywhere is getting 4 cost reduction. And then at level 8, you have a 1% higher chance of getting level 1s, and then a 1% lower chance of getting level 5s. Like, really? Like, I said this in the beginning of TFT set 4 also, when they talked about changing all the XP. Just make a level 10 already. Like, just make a level 10. You guys cannot balance your numbers correctly here. Please just make a level 10 and, like, compensate it with ridiculous stats and make that the trait that people really want to chase. Like, not being able to go 9 every game is just such an issue right now in a lot of comps. Like, getting to level 9 here is like, this would be fun to play. It would be fun to be able to play like as strong as you can every single game and get to level 9 and actually be able to have fun with the game. But like, it's becoming harder and harder to actually do that. You know, and then you have like these buffer zones of like, you know, level 7 is getting compensated down. Level 8 is getting compensated down. It's just becoming so much more difficult to actually get to the fun parts of the game in a lot of comps. That, like, you know, it's like, to play these comps, you have to get to level 8 or 9. But getting to level 8 or 9 is almost fucking impossible. Unless, and here's the hot take, you play flex. Right? But here's the thing. Not everybody knows how to play flex, and not everybody enjoys playing the game as playing flex. So, I'll basically give you guys the rundown of how to play this set. Or this patch. So, you're going to take whatever chosen you get at the beginning of the game. You're going to grit your fucking teeth. You're going to swap out that chosen, probably at level 7, for a 3-cost chosen that's decent. And you're going to keep doing that. You're going to keep switching your entire team. If you get an Elise keeper chosen, and you're going to run keepers. That's it. You're going to just bite your fucking teeth and hope that someone didn't high roll higher in the lobby until you get to level 7. And then you're going to sell everything on your board, and then you're going to buy whatever else you get. If you hit a 4-cost, thank fucking God. If you hit a 5-cost, or if you hit a 3-cost, my bad, of like, let's say Spirit Kindred. Okay, now you're buying Spirit, now you're buying whatever for fucking Frontline, and then you're going to buy whatever else. And then you're going to just pray that can help you survive until level 8, where you can sell everything again. And then you can just, like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid, and there's not enough time for the regular players to do this. I can't fucking do this. I can't fucking play like this. It's just way too much switching in and out of shit, and it's inefficient. Alternatively, you play hyper roll. That's it. You just play a reroll comp. So there's going to be a ton of players, like myself included, who really enjoy playing flex, get fucking shafted by this, and like, I was already getting beat by, you know, reroll comps at least once a game. You know, like, one reroll comp was usually top 4ing in most of my lobbies, and that's fine. That's fine to do. But the fact that, like, now it's almost encouraged because the skill ceiling and skill at cap to be playing some of these comps is just going to be too fucking much. And I definitely can see people getting really fucking frustrated at this. So, Riot More, if you're fucking watching this, please make a level 10 and make that super hard to get to, not level 9. Or you have to compensate level 8, you know? There's so much power that's been taken out of level 8 compared to like set 3-5. In addition to the fact that it's harder to get to level 8 because of the extra XP. Like, the 4-cost champions are really, really, really good, and it's fun to play them. But, like, it's just too rigid of transitions. And if anybody knows about transitioning in TFT, you usually can't do it in a turn. If you can, you have a high APM, and you know what the fuck you're doing. But there's plenty of times, even in my games now, that I don't transition completely in one turn. Most of the time you can't. Most of the time you need to compensate. You need to lose 1 or 2 turns, maybe possibly winning one, with like a half put together of one team and a half put together of another team. It's just too much. It's way too much. And it's just fucking insane to me. I don't know. Anyway, normal roll odds are, you know, like I said, they're getting fucking slaughtered. I still hate this. Just why? Who says at level 8 I want less loot distribution? Lower the variance from the initial loot drops from stage 1, leading to a slight increase in loot overall total. So, the way that this was explained was that you're not going to have 2 gold starts anymore, which is fucking beautiful. The only criticism that I will say on every single patch update that has anything to do with this is I think that your first drop that you get should be gold. And I don't know why this isn't uniform. I don't know why everyone can't start the game with like 3 items and 4 gold. I don't know why. I don't know why there needs to be all this variance. If it has something to do with, oh, if you get 6 gold, then you might get like 2 belts or something stupid. Like you get less good items for the same amount of gold. But your first thing should be gold, because I think that buying up the first shop is fucking valuable. If you get a gold drop first, you can buy up the entire shop and you have every option to play whatever you want. But if you don't get a gold drop, you kind of have to wait and see and pick and choose, and you're already at a disadvantage. Now, the 2 gold start made that really bad. And because like there could be people like one person has X amount of items and the other person has the same amount of items but started with 4 less gold. That 4 gold translates into a pre-level, which translates into, higher chances from one shop. You basically get 2 gold out of it. You're basically, if you start with a 2 gold opener, you'd be at a 4 gold disadvantage already. So, yeah, I didn't like that, and I think that gold should be dropped off the first orb that you get, but that's something that I guess will be addressed at another time. But as for this, if there's no more two gold starts, I love it. I think this is a great change, and I think that this is moving in the direction of like where the game can be better. And then reduced the extreme variance in item distribution by 1. Okay, so this was like you're not going to get 4 drops of the same thing. I haven't talked about this much on the channel, but a lot of people have been talking about the system in which you get items in TFT. And Soju, in particular, has made a video talking about how the items work. So, how he describes it is, if you go your entire game without getting dropped a tier of the goddess, by the last round that you get, like, items or whatever, you should be dropped a tier of the goddess. And I've heard people talk about it, and I don't believe it's true. I think that it's actually confirmation bias. Like the fact that he may have developed this system in which you think that this thing happens, and because you only are like singling in on the instances in which it is happening, that you basically are trying to you're just confirming the thoughts. I don't know how to describe it. I'm kind of getting lost here. But basically, if he's like, okay, well, I should get a sword here, and then he gets a sword, it mentally notes that, okay, that happened. And then if it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, more dogged. But the way that I've heard the actual system is that it's a grab bag like the champions are. So, for instance, if you get a defensive carousel, you're more likely to actually get sword drops, because if there's only 10 of every defensive item in the game, and then you get a defensive carousel, there's already multiples getting picked out instead of just 1 of every item. If everyone gets 1 of every item in the beginning of the game, there's 9 of every item left. But if it's a defensive carousel, there can be 2 or 3 of any given item, reducing it to 7, which means that you have a higher chance of getting the items that have not currently been on a carousel. This is the same thing that happens with spatulas, although I think that with spatulas themselves, if there is a spatula carousel, there may be like a higher chance of spatula drops throughout the game. However, that's just something I've observed, and that might also be fucking wrong. So don't listen to the spatula theory there that I have, because that's just my observation of it, and I could be 100% completely wrong as well. So I don't know if he is, also mistaken in the same vein, But as for, as for the items, this is going to reduce that variance to where you cannot get 4 belts or whatever. You cannot get 4 things dropped. So, I mean, it's good. This wasn't a huge thing that I think people dealt with, but when it happened, it was fucking bad. But I don't know. I mean, this is anything that reduces RNG in the game, I am 100% fine with. Anything that even slightly reduces like complete variance and like bad RNG and just trying to salvage games is fine, because it's not fun at the end of the game or at the end of the day. Now, I mean, if you're trying to run the all legendary comp that I run where it uses 3 tiers, this might hurt a little bit. If you're trying to run, if you're trying to grab swords and stuff off the carousels and you just want to keep naturaling tiers, whatever. But like, that's not something you would actually be thinking of if you're playing the game normally. So, Great Orbs value increased slightly, but lowered Nico drop rates from them. This is good. I don't know. Again, this is another conjecture thing. But every time I would get Nikos, it would feel like I had a 2-item start. And I don't know whether that's Nico counting as an item being dropped, or if Nico just counted as a value of gold, or both. And, you can start out with 2 items being 1 item drop and 1 item from the opening carousel, in addition to gold. Or you can start out with 1 item from the opening carousel, 1 item dropped, and then a Nico plus gold. So I don't know if that Nico counts as extra gold, or if that Nico actually counts as an extra item, but that was something that I had seen a bunch of times. But this is actually going to increase the amount of gold that you're getting, and it's also going to stop you from getting Nikos in the early game. And I don't know that many people who actually use Nico early game. I know that there's some strategies where if you get like an early 3 cost, you can 2-star it really quickly. Like, I know Katarina was huge for this. If you get like Warlord or Assassin and you get like a Katarina off the drop and then the random Katarina at like level 4 or 5, you could just Nico it and get a free level 2 cat, and it usually can do really good for you. But that's not going to be super possible, but that's also a very niche strategy. Most of the time, people were holding these Nikos until they had 4 or 5 costs. So reducing them from at least the opening, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I apologize if you can. But, having less Nikos in the game is fine. So... And actually, is there something I'm missing here? Because there was someone talking about Fortune getting changed. I guess if I don't see it, I'll address it later. So, Chosen bonus AD, affecting Yasuo, Aphelios, Zed, Xin Zhao, Ashe, Jhin, Talon, Warwick. I don't hate this. I think that Talon and Ashe were really fucking strong. But, my thing is, I was thinking about this. How many of these champions would actually hate to have like the chosen modifier be attack speed instead of attack damage? The only one here I can really think would have an issue would be Talon, and I would even argue that that would be fine because of the Enlighten trait. But I think that we could switch attack damage to attack speed, and all of these champions would enjoy being chosen a whole lot more. Like, Yasuo just attacks a lot and builds his stuff the same way Talon does. Aphelios fucking loves attack speed. Zed, enough said. Xin Zhao, which I'll get into later. Ashe, Talon, Jhin, Ashe, same shit. Jhin, this doesn't matter if it's attack damage or attack speed unless the number is equal. Because if you don't know, if you add attack speed to Jhin, he will not gain attack speed, he'll gain attack damage. His attack speed modifier is directly tied to his attack damage modifier. So he'll gain attack damage per attack speed because he won't gain attack speed. I don't know if that makes sense how I put it, but that's how it is. And then, again, Talon and then Warwick. Warwick has some changes that I need to talk about later, too. You have the Cultist trait. Now only provides 1 star to Galio instead of double the chosen star level. I think this is a good change because originally when they did the change, I didn't know why it was going to be double the star. I thought it would be like 1.5, but this is pretty much the same thing. Because if you get a 2-star, it's going to be 2 plus 1, which is 3, which is 1.5 times instead of 4. But there were a couple comps with like 9 cultists that you could like hyper roll your Twisted Fate or Elise and go 9 cultist, and then sometimes you'd sell it and then switch into something better, but a lot of times it'd be fine. But people didn't know that Giant Slayer still tore Galio in half, so But I do think this is a good change for clarity and not forcing people to build certain items. I think this is a good change. 2-star cultist goes to... Oh, okay. So, yeah, they're just clarifying again. So, it's fine. Fortune. Fixed an issue with one of the 11 drops being undervalued. Okay, so Fortune changes. Slightly lower the drop rate. Okay, so this is the Fortune change. So, you have a slightly lower drop rate from Nico's help. So, if you have 6 Fortune, a big strategy was to get 6 Fortune and then start win streaking, because you could get a bunch of Nikos. I think it was like, I don't know what the drop rate was, but it felt like every 3 fights you had, you got 2 Nikos out of. So, like, there were some comps where people would just, like, play Fortune and then, get a bunch of gold and stuff and go to level 9 and just buy a Fortune, or buy a level 9, or, buy a 5-cost unit at level 9 and then just start throwing Nikos on them. It was funny to see. I don't know how practical it is, but, it's slightly less effective now. So if you like that cheese strategy, maybe don't. Okay, so champions. Diana tier 1. Alright, excuse me real quick. This is looking like the 3 and 4 stars are getting nerfed. And the 4-star one actually looks significant. Excuse me. So, I think that this is fine. I think Diana was pretty wild. But I mean, she was a very safe top 2. Very safe top 2, maybe top 3. But I think peeling her back a little bit is going to be really necessary. Because like I said earlier, the hyper roll potential, or like the level 1 team comp potential, is just really, really high now. So, And then plus, the fact that people are not playing Aphelios and, instead choosing to carry Diana and carry Lysandra. It's always weird when the carries are the 1-stars of the comp without a reason. We can get away with Yasuo being a carry because he has an exile trait, and the only other exile is a level 5, and the level 5's exile, or of 5 costs. Yone doesn't usually benefit off of exile too, because it's not spell vamp, and he's magic damage. But Yasuo benefits greatly off of it, because he's AD and he attacks fast, and he's a duelist, blah, blah, blah. So, I can push it with Yasuo, but for Diana, it's like, why isn't Aphelios carry a thing? Aphelios is like the only thing that you can think of in Moonlight that would be a carry, and he's a 2-cost, like, hunter. And, I don't know. Moonlight's a very weird comp, so it is what it is. Lysandra's getting pulled down a little bit too, but only at her 4th, so that's whatever. Nami's mana is getting shifted to where her first cast will still, if you have 2 tiers and chosen, it'll still auto cast, but her subsequent casts are not going to be as strong. It's iffy. I'm so iffy on this change. I'm just going to say it's fine. I don't know if it would be better to have her CC last less time, or if her mana needs to go. It's all the same shit at the end of the day, but I'm just gonna leave this one alone. And Yasuo is getting buffed. This is to compensate the chosen Yasuo issue, because most of the time, if you are playing Yasuo, he's chosen. So this is just gonna equal that out. If you're playing Duelist and you're running Yasuo 3 or whatever, and you know, you're not, I don't know. This lets you run Yasuo in the beginning like you do already, but chosen Yasuo is just a little bit less good, I guess, for this. Aphelios AD goes up. Starting mana goes up. Cool. I don't think he's going to be good. Lulu's wild growth knockup is going down and then increasing. Lulu's still going to be good. I think Lulu's still fine. Jarvan's stuff is getting shifted around to where he's going to be ulting a lot more, but at less of a knockup duration. And I think this is fine. I guess we'll see if Warlords are OP. Pyke is going to be doing less damage. A lot of people didn't know that Pyke was a really strong champion. There's a lot of champions that people don't play. I'll give you another one. Teemo is really fucking strong. If you had a chosen Teemo, you're kind of set. Chosen Kindred, obviously, too, but that's going to be a whole lot harder now. Teemo, Kindred, a bunch of stuff like that. Pyke was one of those champions that, like, is really slept on, but I think, you know, people were either starting to come to their senses about it, or they're like, yeah, we see this, but let's hit it now. You know, that's generally what they were talking about on the Mortdog video of it, but Zed's attack speed goes up. Cool. I don't know if Zed is in a horrific spot. It seems to be whenever you see a Zed doing good, it's doing really good. And whenever you see a Zed doing bad, you're just like, it just doesn't hit your radar. But Akali's AD, no, her spell damage is going up. I think that's fine. Jinx is getting her... She's getting a lot of rework stuff, and I don't know if this is going to be good or bad. But the way that it feels is like they're trying to move her away from being a carry. Which is weird. Because, like, if you're running sharpshooters, who are you going to run as an AP carry? You can run either Jinx, Teemo, or I guess Vayne. Right? There are no other AP sharpshooter options. Okay, Nidalee, but... So, you want to make the 3 cost not a carry, but instead make the 1 or the 2 cost a carry. Okay. I thought there was issues with that. I thought you didn't want 3 costs to be stronger than 4 costs, and 4 costs to be stronger than 5 costs, but you want a couple 1 and 2 costs to be stronger than the 3 cost. I get it. We've seen Jinx for a while, and I fucking hate this comp. But go crazy. Go have fun. Have fun. Xin Zhao, total mana starting. Okay, this one makes me happy. This one makes me excited because I've been theory crafting a team comp and a build, and people are talking about, like, what build for Xin Zhao would not work or would work. And here's my theory. Okay, you give Xin Zhao the original Aphelios items. It lets you have a really big fucking opening for shit. And Deathblade, GA, fucking QSS Ashe was doing work when I said it was, you know, going to be doing work. So hopefully this becomes a thing. You're going to run 6 duelists, 3 warlords. And or you can switch out the warlords at some point. You're going to try and get your duelist Xin Zhao. You're going to run QSS plus Rageblade plus GA. And the theory is that he's going to attack so much that he's going to be nonstop ulting and is going to gain way too many defenses before his GA and QSS end up running him out. Because I think that while the healing is really good, I think that eventually it's not going to matter. But the only problem with that ends up being like things like Talon. But Talon's kind of out of the meta right now, right? Which I'll get to in a sec. But that's my theory. So if anyone wants to try that out, I've been testing it a little bit on a couple different accounts, and I've been getting really, really mixed results. But I'm going to be testing it more in this upcoming meta. So that was just, I just wanted to, fangirl out a little bit because I think that it could actually be really good and it would be fun to play. So Cassiopeia's mana is going up. I think it's fine, right? Is this the same amount? 60 to 60? No, that's 70. So it's actually going to be harder for her to ult the first time. I don't actually like that because I think Cassiopeia is pretty decent if she can ult. But a lot of times she can't unless you have her 2-star or can itemize her a little bit, like with a redemption. But she's gaining a bunch of damage amp. If it's for the same duration, then I think this could actually be a good change. Like, it's basically really feast or famine. She ults, and, when she ults, it's going to be more impactful, but she's going to ult less. Jin's AD is going up. Expect Jin to be good. Talon's True Strike no longer funds man on kill. So I'm trying to think. What does that mean? Because like I'm going to have to get some clarity on this, but this sounds like if it doesn't refund his mana on a kill, then he wouldn't cast again, right? But then he doesn't have an ultimate. Like, he just has an auto attack reset. What I think this was, as I mentioned in the last rundown, that I thought that Talon had a different way of targeting things, and maybe it was when something dies, like, he would instead have the mana refund instead of his regular leap. So I guess that could be this. But, his mana's going down. He had a bug fix where his damage couldn't strike, couldn't crit, and then he's getting a general damage reduction. And obviously the biggest one here is at level 2. So this combined with the Chosen Talon, combined with all that, just means that Talon, I think he's going to still be fine. You just can't run him every single game. So it's whatever. I hope that he's still fucking playable. I really hope. But if not, whatever. Play sharpshooters. Play things that don't lose to Talon for this fucking patch. I think within the next couple days, we're going to all realize really, really quickly what's going to be winning. Warwick's AD is going up, Warwick's attack speed is going down, and then Warwick's ultimate, instead of fearing, is going to give everybody who has a trait shared with him attack speed. This could be really fucking funny, because you can either choose to optimize Warwick to be your carry, or alternatively, you can give a divine spat or something to somebody, and you can, give Warwick a Sunfire Cape, and then just have him run, be a tank in the middle of the fight. Alternatively, you can also now give Warwick RFC, which is really fucking good. Because you used to not be able to want to give RFC to Warwick because he would not get the value from his Howl. Now he just gains bonus attack speed. So, go crazy. I think this one could be fun. Azir's mana is just going up. But not really. His subsequent cast. It's the same thing as before. This is fine. Azir's still going to be good. Lee Sin is actually gaining a higher stun on his primary, but not on his secondary. So everything he hits is not going to be stunned for as long, besides the actual target that he hit at first. This is going to be good because blue buff RFC Lee Sin kind of fucking died. There would be this point where he wouldn't hold the unit in place for long enough to cast his ult again. So it would just keep kicking it toward the wall, which is really frustrating, especially for me as I play, all legendaries. So set starting mana is going up. So basically, instead of him running away, he's usually just going to ult unless he gets CC'd. And then he's going to come back into the fight and maybe ult again. So it's cool. Yone no longer knocks up enemies, but he becomes untargetable. And then he also does less base damage, but then he's going to do more armor and MR shred. So I think this is fine. I think Yone is still going to be fucking really good, especially because of the total mana drop there too. So blue buff GA and Hand of Justicione. Trust me, it's my favorite thing to play. And then, you know, fixed a couple bugs with him. So that plus items. ZZ-Rot is just getting less AD. ZZ-Rot was really good, especially early game because it just did too much fucking damage. So bugs. Addressed an issue where ghost armies with the hunter trait occasionally activated the hunter instantly. Yeah, this is, I talked about this either on my last patch rundown or the one before it, but this was so fucking frustrating to play against because I would be playing like Elderwood or something, go against 5 hunters, and then immediately like my carry would die. And it was just really stupid. So, hunter trait will no longer fire 1 second early. So hunter's getting nerfed. Again, don't play Aphelios. Zillion now correctly deprioritizes casting his spell on summoned units. Again, I play all legendaries. This is a really nice change because I would sometimes not play Zillion or not play Azir exclusively because Zillion's first cast would always be a soldier plus something else. So, very happy about this one too. Following attacks now correctly can be dodged. Okay, whatever. This stuff, whatever. Jax is better now. Cool. Fiora will no longer sometimes change. Okay, bugs. Okay. So that's going to be it for this one. Obviously, like, I have a lot of hot takes about this one. But hopefully, you know, this just stabilizes and becomes the best meta ever. Otherwise, this is going to be a brutal 2 or 4 week patch because the way that it sounds is that this is going to be the patch that fucks everything up, and then next patch is hopefully going to be trying to clean it all back up. And I hope that it is because the holiday weekends are, you know, upon us. And I really I wish that they did less with this patch because it's Thanksgiving and I don't want the TFT team to get brought out of their homes or whatever to try and fix this fucking game. Spend some goddamn time with your family, please. Please, for the love of God. But they're trying to do a lot, and they're trying to shift a lot of parts around, and we have seen time and time again that you just cannot do that. So I pray to God that I'm fucking wrong, and that this is the best patch ever, and I am more than willing to eat my words and, you know, completely admit that I'm fucking wrong about all the shit that I say. But please fucking prove me wrong. Please make this the best meta. I am always willing to hear the best meta. But anyway, that'll be it. This is Fuffin, and hope you guys have a good one. Peace.